Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts, your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex, and joining me as always from his bar, or I guess like his hangout spot with all those cool sports pictures. I wonder who the guy is like with his hands. He looks really excited. How you doing, Andy? Did you have a fun Thursday night? I'd like to think we all did.
I did. You hit one of those first touchdown scorers. I've hit a few of those this year through. I don't pick those out myself. I never have, never will. I'm not good at it. So I'm glad you had Hunter Henry. I cashed on that. Somebody gave me Goff the other week. Like I've kind of been crushing those secondhand, which is nice. And then our consensus play of Chargers plus 3.5, never in doubt. That was when you bet the Chargers, you get what you deserve. And boy, howdy, that was I was 90% sure they just lose by 6. Even before the coin toss, they're going to lose by 6 in overtime. This is how this goes. But got home. I think it was probably the right side. Weird game with Mariota coming in. And here we are. We made it. So we're off to Friday. Yeah, like I said in the description, no guests, no questions, just here's what we're playing tonight, here's what we're playing this weekend, and here's what we're playing going forward, even some forward-facing stuff. So do you want to do your teaser first or me?
Let's jump into our teasers here. You're first up on the list. Why don't you go ahead and jump in? It looks like you've got the Pats and the Browns you're putting them together. What do you like there? I mean,
this is not super mathy. I know I like to cross these numbers, but man, I really, really, really wanted to get the Browns in somehow. I hate taking it to a half point. It's like you're paying to get off the push probability of a tie, which sucks. But still, I get these at minus 110. I think it's still worth it in this case with these lower totals, especially nowadays where totals are so high. I'm getting these both in the low to mid 40s. I think the Browns game is lined at about 44 for its total. So Pats for me with all the injuries to the Dolphins. We talked about this a lot in the deep dive. This is not like the normal year where the Pats are great. They're heading to Miami and they have their down game. It's kind of the opposite where the Dolphins are poised for a playoff run and the Pats are heading down there as an outsider looking in. So I like that leg quite a bit. I actually would play Pats money line if I was so inclined to actually bet the side in that game. And then the Browns here, I don't think defensive injuries go as noticed as they should. And Bradbury going to the COVID list, he's their only good player. Like literally, Saquon's hurt, but he might be their best player on their team. The best player on the Giants is on the COVID list. I hate playing a team off a hot game like the Browns with the big offensive output they had. But man, this is such a good matchup, even if I still don't think Baker's good. So I like this teaser quite a bit. And this might be the end of my NFL card. All my NFL plays are up on the BetSperts app. You can find them. I put usually teasers late in the week. Most of the other stuff I'm doing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So this might be it for the week. I'll post my full card later on too, but you can check everything out over on the app too.
Yeah, be sure you follow us both on BetSperts. You can find Andy at Andy and myself, Alex Christensen. You'll see those at the end of the credits if you need the spelling there. Like both of those teaser legs, I'm always surprised to see you, when you don't. I know you love to cross 7 and 3, so you must really like that Brown side to get it down to half a point. 2 other teaser legs stood out to me. I've got the Packers of Green Bay and the Colts of Indianapolis put together. Really like this matchup for Green Bay. I think at this point, Green Bay is one of the best teams in the league. If you are a team that's going to beat them, I think you need to have kind of a prolific offense and a decent defense, or a pretty good defense and a serviceable offense. And I don't know that if Carolina fits really either one of those descriptions. I think that they can get out, maybe score 20 points if they have, maybe get a couple breaks, and Teddy Two Gloves is having a nice game, but I think they're going to struggle to score it. At the same time, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to throw a touchdown to Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones is probably going to get one himself, and there's probably a third one there in the mix as well. So right there alone, you're looking at just a really tough equation for the Panthers. So really happy to take the Green Bay from 8.5 all the way down to 2.5. And then the Colts of Indianapolis, they're at home against Houston. And normally I'd be looking to bet Houston in this spot. being plus 7.5, getting on the other side of that key number is nice. But I think some of the injuries there are starting to really pile up for them. I think that they're starting to fade towards the end of the season. They've already lost their head coach. I think they're starting to look ahead. If you look at some of those results, I think their last chance, frankly, was against Indianapolis. Had they been able to drive down the field there and win that game, I think that really opens things up for them. But I think Indianapolis takes care of business here. Again, like the matchup for them, they're starting to get healthy a little bit. It looks like Costanzo's been practicing all week, so it'll be nice to get him back and feeling good. So as they start to get healthy, I think this is a great spot. Again, I get to cross 7 and 3 on both of these, so pretty happy there. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, this is a super Andy-looking one. I just I had my numbers disagree a little with how heavy of a favorite Green Bay is. It scared me off a little, although it's probably the best leg. They're 10 and 3 on teasers this year. It's probably a good spot. I don't hate that at all. I almost played it. If I do end up adding anything, it probably will be a Green Bay teaser here somewhere too. So, yeah, that's probably it for the NFL. If I add anything between now and then, obviously you'll see it on the app. I'll probably tweet something about it. I don't usually play stuff too late. I know we were going to do mostly stuff for today and the weekend, but it's still brown bag bets. It's still preseason NBA. So, Noops, Alex, what do you got? One more for the end of the week. Close me out.
We're getting so close, ladies and gentlemen. We had 4 futures already. This will be our 5th of the week, of course, here on Friday. The Toronto Raptors over 42.5 wins. I love this prop. As you start to look at that team, they were really successful last year. Really like what they were able to do in terms of the regular season win percentage, 73.6. You take the bubble out, still right around 72%. The Pythagorean was a little lower, but you're still looking at 69%. And as you start to look at last year, it was a pretty solid season for them. And that was even despite a whole lot of injuries. So I think there was even some upside in those numbers. As you start to look ahead this year, the market is really pessimistic for them. That 42.5 that we have there would imply a win percentage of only 59%. So I think that I've got some nice wiggle room again based on last year. I know that a lot of people are concerned about Marc Gasol, about Serge Ibaka leaving the team, but I like Aaron Baines coming in. I think that they're going to like having a younger, fresher set of legs. I think that defensively he'll be able to do a lot of what those guys did. I also think having OG Anunoby, a player that maybe not a lot of people are familiar with, had a nice run there in the bubble a little bit, but having him all season is going to help everyone. He's a nice defensive player. He's going to help on offense. Yes, I know that Kyle Lowry is a year older, but the way he plays isn't really dependent on too much speed and athleticism. It's actually more, frankly, about his size and poise and ability to kind of be a bulldog on the floor. So I don't expect that to degrade too much. I really like Tampa Bay. That's right.
Yeah, I changed it, and that's my quick question before we move on: is are you upgrade, downgrade, neutral? How do you feel about them not having to play any games up in Toronto?
Well, the quick comment that I got from a lot of people was, who wouldn't rather be in Tampa Bay during the winter than Toronto? Now, it will be away from home.
Paychecks, too. I don't think they'll have to pay Canadian sales tax or income tax on some of this. If you're playing your games in Florida, it might make these guys a lot more money, too.
We'll see if we can find an NBA guest that's an accountant and have them on and ask that and see if we can figure that out. But that is an interesting wrinkle.
Hey, you?
No. Oh God, no. I'm finance. Finance is a whole lot different. Accountants, that's a whole different thing. Anyway, the Tampa Bay Raptors, if you will. I think that being in Tampa Bay is a little bit of a downgrade. It's going to be different for them. But in this particular team, I think that something like that affects teams a lot differently depending on how strong of a team you are. And this is a pretty tight group. It's the same group they've had for about 3 seasons. Nick Nurse is a great coach. Ujiri is a great GM. So the two of them are going to do everything they can to prepare these guys to be ready. I think that they'll be fine. And I think, honestly, in some way, it might put a little bit of chip on their shoulder, and they might even be tougher in Tampa Bay. Either way, I think that we've got a lot of wiggle room versus last year's performance for a team that's just as good, frankly, if not slightly better, given, having an OB. And I think Baines is going to work out really nicely there. So happy to jump on the Toronto and/or Tampa Bay Raptors over 42.5 wins.
Yeah, I dig it. Basketball, lots of basketball this weekend. Obviously, the time that we do this, it just doesn't allow to probably look ahead. There's not lines really for tomorrow yet, but big Saturday at college. Obviously, like I said, follow me on the app. ask me any questions in the DMs if you have anything, because we're going to start to get to the point of the season. We're going to have these massive Saturday slates. But today I kind of went volume 2. It was nice to get Wagner over the hump yesterday. I'm sitting on actually a nice little college basketball run after I straightened my shit out and stopped playing these major conferences. I'm back to where I need to be. So I don't know what time these are. It looks like I am playing, if you're talking, I have no idea if I'm looking at Central or Eastern time on this, but I'm playing a 3 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, a 5 o'clock, and a 6 o'clock game if I decide to add this early one. So these are just numbers plays. I didn't start doing a lot at digging into why these teams are, why I like them, but for the most part, underdogs that are going to overperform. The way my model works is I'm looking for underdogs who aren't going to cough the ball up a ton, who can do anything on the offensive glass, who don't miss like 35% of their free throws. Teams that can shoot the 3 ball, can get hot. Those are high variance teams. An underdog that can shoot the 3 ball, it doesn't matter how bad they are. If they can get hot for a little bit, you're inside the number. That's what Niagara was last year. They had some good 3-point shooters. They weren't a very good team. They covered a lot as an underdog. So today, Tennessee State plus 7.5. That's a number that you can probably get at an 8 if you shop around a little. I'm going to try not to put like the very best to the number up here, just in case people don't have a lot of outs. Another one, this is an absolute garbage bet right now. I bet them at 15. You can get a 17 on Northwestern State.
Where is Northwestern State?
I think it's in Louisiana.
Existed.
I'm almost 90% sure it's in Louisiana. I'm going to fact check that after the game. But Northwestern State, you can get like 16.5, 17. Right. This one has moved a little bit away from me. So, Rico de Gallo says it is Louisiana. I've looked up some of these in the past.
Natchitoches, Louisiana?
Natchitoches.
There for destroying the pronunciation.
Not to be confused with Nagadoches, which is where Stephen F. Austin is. Monmouth, the inventor of the bench mob. Love this squad. Right now, I don't know why I played 1.5. I can't get my head straight apparently for college basketball yet. You should probably just play the money line if you're getting at plus 1.5. We had that question earlier in the week. We haven't got real deep into college basketball, and we didn't run it. We did NBA, we did NFL. We didn't run numbers on that. So plus 1.5 for the money line on that, and then another just absolutely. That is not how do you say it.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, not anybody who wants to look up the pronunciation for Natchitoches. We know like 3 people that are from Louisiana, man, too, in the tennis chat. I have to hit some of those guys. We know people that went to LSU. They should help us with this. True. Right. This is a trash squad, real trash squad. South Carolina State. This is one you could probably find a 9.5. South Carolina State Presbyterian. That's a bad game. This is another road dog. I want to say I'm split here with home favorites or home and away dogs here. I think there might be some value early on, and I'm going to run some numbers on this over the weekend. I'm working on updating some things. People don't know where home field advantage is in the NFL, and that's a small sample size with a ton of people looking into that market constantly. I have no idea where we're at with college basketball. With some of the rest breaks you're getting 7-8 days off. You're getting, nobody in an arena. You're having silly travel spots. You're having these back-to-back games. So home court in college basketball, I have no idea what to do with it, but I think it's probably overrated at this point because we have seen some upticks in whistles in certain arenas where they don't have to deal with the fans. Like you can blow the whistle as much as you want. You're not going to get booed at by the home fans because they don't exist. You might get a little guff from the coach and then you can tee them up. So Natchitoches. Only 3 syllables on that, which is fair. That's a lot of letters.
I would have gotten close to that.
It's like the French. They just waste half of their letters. Like all the letters they're putting in.
I thought you just skipped all the consonants. Isn't that what French is? You just skip all the consonants. It's vowels only.
Yeah. And we do have a little question. I did start with 0.5 units. So real quick on college basketball, what I've done 2 years ago, I didn't start till New Year's Day betting. Like people think, oh, you bet all. No, I didn't bet till New Year's Eve. I think I put in 1 bet. The year before last year, I started like December 10th, December 12th. And it was a normal year where, we had a normal start at a normal time. So we were like a month deep into the season. So the reason I am playing half units on college basketball is because I'm not super comfortable with how I've made the adjustments for a lot of these. So I don't know if my priors are right. I learned a lot this year based on how some of the results have gone. So I think maybe I'll be moving to my normal 1-unit plays where I'm just flat betting everything here soon. But early in the season, when I didn't have much data and I was relying on last year's data and my updates and my priors, I really wanted to take it light, which is good because I'm actually down a little on the year. I'm 10-2 my last 12 plays, and I'm still down a little. So I'm happy that I went smaller units. Houston Baptist, we'd need a whole episode for that. And yes, thank you to the people from the South, Louisiana, for straightening us out on Natchitoches.
That's
Natchitoches.
fun.
So, and I said I did have a 3:00 game. I don't yet, but this Niagara number is starting to get disrespectful. If we see 3.5 pops, if there's any more Fairfield money, I might have to add my squad, my Purple Eagles. I know they're a favorite. That's not something I love to do with them. It's a home favorite with a very low total, but my numbers don't agree totally with the move down. So I might possibly have one more play today, and you have a play on a game.
Well, actually, quickly, before we get to that, if you want to pop up your summary real quick, I think it's probably always helpful for people if you can just run through quickly. I think pretty much all these numbers are available. What would you play these down to? Are we pretty tight to your numbers right now on these 4 plays, or is there a little wiggle room?
Yeah, like I said, you can get better numbers on a couple of these. I'd play, Monmouth if you want to lay the juice. I play so much reduced juice I'm able to find where I didn't mind laying the 1.5. It looks like I got minus 102, so it's not like I played juice. And that is a big reason to play the money line is you can get you're not paying any juice when you play on money line. So Monmouth money line, South Carolina State. I'd play all these down a couple points from where they're at. I need a decent edge to be betting these. In general, if you can get it within a point or two of where I'm at, I would still bet these. As we saw last night, I bet it plus 10.5 with Wagner. By the time I got around to doing anything with it, it was 9. That game closed at 5.5 at some places, and they lost by 6. So that could have been middled. Those moves do matter. Things happen. College basketball, especially the end of the game stuff, is really wild. So don't go chasing something that's moved a lot. And yeah, some of these are going to move against me. There's push-pull all day long. And you might be able to get even a better number. Or you have a better out than me. Some of you people with the legal books have some wild numbers. So I am on those for today and possibly one more a little later on.
Excellent. Again, make sure you follow Andy on the BetSperts apps. You can find him, just Andy, folks, about as easy as can be. So you can get that extra play if it pops up and you get all this stuff as it comes.
Right down there, Andy.
One of those things. It'll also be in the credits there at the end. Now, I also have our final play that we wanted to talk about, another basketball play, not a future, though. We're trying to get ahead here.
An actual goddamn game.
We had an actual goddamn game, folks. Basketball starts on Tuesday. There are 2 games on Tuesday. There's a handful of games on Wednesday. There is one line in particular that I like on Wednesday, and that is the Mavericks of Dallas to beat the Phoenix Suns. I think everyone is really excited about Chris Paul coming to Phoenix, and that excitement, I think, has got maybe the wrong team here slightly favored. Phoenix opened as a small favorite, like minus 1.5, and they're still a small favorite here, even at that minus 110 price. And my concern essentially is here that I just think Dallas is a much better team. As I start to look at this game, I have Dallas a small favorite at like minus 2. So happy to grab them on the money line there at minus 110. Again, everyone's excited about what came in with Chris Paul, but what went out the door, and Kelly Oubre Jr. was their best defensive player by a decent margin. I mean, Mikal Bridges is a nice player. He might continue to grow in his game and maybe take over some of those responsibilities. But as I start to look at this Phoenix team, I wonder who is going to be guarding some of the more talented wings and some of the more talented ball handlers in the NBA night to night. And their first game against Dallas, they're going to have arguably the hardest challenge in the league, having to guard Luka Doncic. Maybe Chris Paul will try to take that assignment for a little bit, but I mean, the height advantage alone is going to make it really easy for Luka to make passes over him, to maybe go down in the post a little bit and work him down there. Booker's not going to guard him. Maybe they'll try to put Bridges on him, but I think Luka is just going to grind him up into little tiny meatballs and just cook. It's just going to be fantastic, I think. As you start to look at what Dallas did, I don't know why people aren't more excited about the addition of Josh Richardson. Yes, he got stuck in the Brett Brown down in Philadelphia last year, and I think that maybe people a little down on him. He is going to love being off ball in this role here, being more of a defensive stomper, being more of a second option. I think he's really going to grow. I think people forget how good Dwight Powell was at the beginning of the season last year before he got hurt running pick and rolls with Luka Doncic. Kristaps Porzingis is hurt. He might play, he might not. I think that he will play in this game, and if he does, that's great. If he doesn't, I'm still not worried. It's going to be more minutes for Powell. I think it makes them more dynamic on the defensive end. Overall, all signs in this game point Dallas to me, so happy to jump in a little bit early here. Again, -110 is what I would play it down to. There are some better numbers out there. I saw a -106, and there might even still be something right around even. So shop around just a little bit, like the Mavericks to win this game and start their season on the right foot.
And you know what? I didn't think I'd ever do this, but whatever. Patrick's got a hilarious avatar, so here's a free play from some random guy named Patrick. Beasley over 5.5 receptions. Which
I like the avatar too. When you pulled it up the first time,
honestly, I am going to look at some props this weekend, especially for the Saturday games. I don't hate that at all, man. They're down 5 corners. They're down their top 3. Like that could be Beasles all day. So I don't hate that. That's half the reason I shared it, because I don't hate that look as well. So, and one quick one. I mean, the answer to this is probably middle of the road defender, right? Like he's not a bad defender, but he's not
right.
good.
He's not a defensive stopper. He's not going to be bulldogging anybody out of doing some stuff. I mean, he's solid. He's nice. He'll pick up some slack for Booker, but he's not going to slow down Luka Doncic.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, you know what? Let's do a quick recap, and then we'll talk to close the week. This is the one I just showed you already. These are all the plays for the college slate. We have the 2 NBA plays, Toronto, Tampa. The Raptors over 42.5 wins. That was your nice little future for the week. And then Dallas moneyline versus Phoenix, which is next Wednesday. We'll have to revisit that to see what the line is when we get there. And our teasers from earlier in the game, I had Pats and Browns teased up, Packers and Colts. Word of advice on those, make sure you're shopping around. There are some books that are absolutely gouging people on teasers right now. Try to shoot for -110. I've seen people that can get better than that. It's rare, but at least -120, man, if you're going to be teasing 6 points. So those are it for the week. And you know what? It's Friday. This is it. This is the last one for the week. Really big thanks to anyone who did retweet, shared, liked, commented, posted, joined us in the chat, did a Google review, a review for the podcast, anything like that. And if you haven't, that would help us out. And then the NCAA F picks for today. We had yesterday, Eric wanted to play the Chanticleers today, and they canceled that game. And they declared the Sun Belt co-champions. So that sucks. The only one he did give out yesterday was Notre Dame. +10.5. So that's a play. If I have anything that I really like in the college football slate for Saturday, I'll be sure to post it on the app or tweet about it as well. Alex, anything else before we sign off for the end of the week?
No, just to echo your thank yous. Again, thank you, everybody. Thanks for sliding the DMs. I got a bunch of questions myself. We even talked about a listener question this week. I know Andy got some stuff. Please continue to send that stuff on Twitter at Brown Bag Bets. You can find both of us there. We appreciate all that stuff, and it really helps us build the show. We hope you had as much fun as we did this week, and please continue. And thank you very much for your support. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.